OnShape, and I already have the Barnabas-Bot 2.2 template file, so I'm going to start by opening that. Alright, so now that I'm here, I can see in the top left-hand corner it says the document's view only, and I want to go ahead and make a private copy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it from saying copy to just my name, and then I'm going to say public rather than private, and then create a public document. Okay, so here we are in the in my own version of the workspace, and you can see there's a lot going on. It's easy to get overwhelmed here, but don't worry, I'm going to lead you through this step by step. So if we look at the bottom for starters, we can see all of these different parts for a robot. So there's the body. Here's one of the types of heads, the other head, some hands, some ears, the arms, yada yada. So don't worry about any of this. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on editing the front plate. So what I want to do is start by going over some of the functions of your mouse in OnShape. So first, if you click and hold your right mouse button, and go ahead and move your mouse around, you can see that you can rotate your sketch. I can also, if I hold Control while I hold the right mouse button, I can actually physically move my sketch, translate it one way or the other. So you probably noticed this guy up in the right hand corner here. This is just a little cube that represents the different faces of our piece. So you'll notice as I drag things around, as I drag things around, I can actually see this cube shifting. So typically I like to use that cube rather than using the mouse to shift things around. I just find that it's very easy for me to get my part in a position where it's a little difficult for me to work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this thing that says front here, and it's going to shift it right back to being in the front. So I can also do that, say, with my mouse on this this part here that says front. So I can just right click and select view normal to, and it'll also have the same effect. So going back to the cube here, all of these arrows will allow me to rotate by 45 degrees. So I can view it from top or bottom as well. I think I'd just like to go back to front, and then I can tilt it one way or the other. We know how to use our mouse in OnShape. Let's get started editing this part. So I'm going to start by right-clicking on the B in the middle, and I'm going to go to Edit Sketch 1. So you'll notice a couple things happen when I say Edit Sketch 1. First of all, we have this box popping up on the upper left-hand side. And then we have this number that kind of pops out, and we have these lines going to our sketch here. So this is talking about the dimension of that sketch. So this is just saying that it is 1 inch from the bottom to the top of this letter B. So we can double click on this and actually edit that. So I can make it 2 inches if I want. Problem being is that the bottom of the B now kind of comes off of the part. So maybe that's a little too big, so I'm going to double click on it again and say, how about 1.5? Enter. There we go. So that fits on the part. So it's important to, after I make any edits that I want, or after I'm done editing this part, I can say, I can click on this green check mark, and that will save whatever edits I've made. However, if I click on this red X here, you'll notice it goes back to just being 1 inch the way it was before. So I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. I'm going to go ahead and make it 1.5 inches again. I liked it like that. And now We can also edit the text if I right click on the B. So this will pop open this window over here, and it allows me to put whatever I'd like to in here. So I can put Eric, my name. Obviously this is a little too big. What do we think? Maybe 0.7? 0.7 will make it fit? Yeah, that seems good. Alright, so once again I'm going to click on that green arrow, and that allows me to keep what I've done so far. Now that we've edited this front plate, I think we're ready to put everything together. So I'm going to go down here to this plus sign here, and then I'm going to go to Create Assembly. And I can even rename this assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and rename it Eric's Robot. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to start inserting parts. I'm going to do it piece by piece because I get easily overwhelmed by putting a bunch of parts at a time. Okay. So as soon as you left click on a part in here, it will come into the workspace. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on the center here, so I have the part centered. I'm going to go ahead and have it show from the front. So the next thing I want to do is I want to include the back plate. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it more or less centered. I'm going to take a look at what's going on, because it looks like the back plate is actually just in the middle of our other plate. So I don't want that. I'm going to drag it over to the back here. Alright, so at this point we probably see another issue. I'm just going to say OK for now. So we see another issue is that this is the front of our robot over here. This is the back, and the back place isn't facing the correct way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the back plate, and then I can see these three little things that let me rotate it in 3 dimensions. So all I want to do is I want to take this one, I'm going to rotate it, and I can either do this by hand, or I can see this little thing here and I can just say I want it 180 degrees from what it was, which makes it correctly oriented there. And then I'm just gonna, manipulate the parts in the way things are facing, the way I showed you earlier. So I'm just going to do that. All right. So how's that look? What do you think? I like it. All right, I'm going to do a similar thing for the front plate part, the part that we actually edited. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and just press that, and then I'm going to, just have it centered. Luckily, this one looks like it's pointing in the right direction. I still have that problem of it being like stuck inside the other part, just because of how I placed it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to drag it out towards the front. Okay. I'm just going to press yes for that one so I don't accidentally lose parts if I mistakenly insert something and have to delete it later. Okay, so probably the next thing for me is I'm going to include the arms. So I have a left arm. We'll make sure that's in the right place later. and then I'm going to have a right arm. So notice once again the right arm's kind of oriented in a strange way. So let's see, how do I want to flip this? I think I want to have it go this way, and once again 180 degrees. That just flips it completely. Okay, looks good. Back to the front. Alright, so let's see what we've got here. Not quite where I want. It'd be nice if I just put them over here. So it's not entirely necessary that these be exactly in the right place. We will include all of these parts regardless of where they're located, as long as they're in the sketch. Alright, that looks good to me. Alright, so now I'm going to insert a couple of hands. Put one there. Put another there. I'll just say okay. And I'm just going to get to kind of putting them where I want them to be. Okay. Alright. Yeah, now I probably want to do the same thing. I'll do this one first. No. Just one at a time. Okay. So I'll just flip it 180 degrees. Yes, just like that. Now I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do this twice for this guy. So I want to flip it 180 degrees. But then I also want his thumb to be facing inward, so I'm going to move him over this way, also 180 degrees. And then it looks like I just got to make sure he's right over there. Let's look at my handiwork. Oh boy. There we go. Alright, awesome. So far, so good. So what's left is the head. Let's see, which head do I want to use? Well, let's just go with this one, with the dome head. I find this part to be a lot easier to get in the correct space. Okay, so that's the platform. And then the head. There's also some ears that you can put on them. I usually don't put ears on mine. You're welcome to, though. Alright, so let's zoom out and get a good look at him. Alright, so that's my robot there. The final thing I would like to do is right-click on the assembly that says my robot, or whatever you've named yours. And I want to create a drawing. And then I just want to make sure I have 4 views selected. And say OK. And then it'll make a drawing for me. And there it is. So we're all done with our intro to CAD.